Did you know that the car sitting in your driveway is probably watching you? And I'm not just talking about tracking your speed or where you go. I mean, it could be collecting data on your facial expressions, your health, and believe it or not, in some cases, even your sexual activity. And here's the crazy part. This data can actually be used against you to do things like deny a warranty claim or even jack up your insurance rates. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden world of how your car is spying on you.
To really get how serious this is, let's start with a story. So picture this, a guy named Brian. He's driving his 2023 Toyota Corolla GR. It's a high-performance car, only about a year old. He's just cruising down the highway on a totally normal day when all of a sudden, something goes horribly, horribly wrong.
Out of nowhere, smoke starts pouring into the car. Brian manages to pull over, and just in time because the entire front end of his car is completely engulfed in flames. I mean, it's a terrifying and totally bizarre thing to happen to a brand new car. His insurance covered some of the damage, but for the rest, he did what anyone would do. He filed a warranty claim with Toyota. After all, his car just spontaneously caught fire. But then, the response from Toyota came back, and to his total shock, they denied his claim. The reason they gave? Get this, his irresponsible driving. They actually blamed him for the fire, even though the way he was driving at that moment had absolutely nothing to do with it.
So that brings up a massive question, right? How on earth could Toyota possibly know how he'd been driving his car in the past? Well, the answer is as simple as it is chilling. His own car snitched on him. It had been sending data back to Toyota that showed on a completely separate day he had driven over 85 miles per hour. And they used that as the excuse to deny his claim.
So let's dive into this. First up, your car, the informant.
Brian's story is a pretty stark warning, but this isn't just some isolated one-off incident. What we're really talking about here is a massive privacy nightmare on wheels. And to get a sense of the sheer scale of this problem, let's look at a recent study from the Mozilla Foundation. They did a really deep dive into the privacy standards of 25 of the biggest car brands in the world.
And the results were an absolute disaster. Not one, not five, but all 25 car brands, that is 100% of the companies they looked at, failed to meet even the most basic consumer privacy standards. And we're talking about huge names here. BMW, Ford, Toyota, Tesla, Subaru, you name it. It is a complete industry-wide failure.
And the kind of data that's being collected, well, it goes way, way beyond just your speed and location. The report found that cars are capable of gathering incredibly sensitive information, including, and I'm not making this up, data on your sexual activity, your immigration status, your health, even your genetic information, all through the sensors, microphones, cameras, and the apps that you connect to your car. The report actually named Nissan as the single worst offender for collecting some of that deeply personal data we just talked about. And it gets worse. Nissan actually says in their policy that they can share and sell consumer preferences, characteristics, psychological trends, predispositions, behavior, attitudes, intelligence, abilities, and aptitudes. Meanwhile, Tesla got called out for having a privacy policy so confusing it was described as a near incomprehensible galaxy spread out across 12 different documents. Good luck making sense of that.
You know, Jen Caltrider from the Mozilla Foundation, who led the whole study, she summed it up perfectly. She said, "All new cars today are privacy nightmares on wheels that collect huge amounts of personal information." That quote, it really just says it all, doesn't it?
So why are they doing this? I mean, why collect all this stuff? Well, the answer, as it so often is, boils down to money. There's a hidden data for dollars pipeline that turns your daily commute into a very profitable product.
So here's basically how it works. Step 1, your car is constantly collecting data on your driving habits. How fast you go, how hard you brake, you get the idea. Step 2, the car maker then sells that data to third-party companies called data brokers. Step 3, those brokers analyze all of it and create a secret driver score just for you. And finally, Step 4, insurance companies buy these reports and can use them to jack up your premiums, all without you ever knowing it's happening.
And this is not just a theory. A New York Times investigation told the story of a guy named Ken Dahl, a 65-year-old who says he's a very careful driver. In 2022, his car insurance bill suddenly shot up by 21%. And when he started shopping around for a new provider, all the other quotes he got were weirdly high too.
So after a lot of digging, he finally found the source. A secret consumer report about him from a data broker called LexisNexis. Where the data come from? His own Chevy Bolt. And when he finally got his hands on this report, it was a staggering 130 pages long. It detailed 640 trips that he and his wife had taken, and it noted every single time they sped, braked hard, or accelerated too quickly.
As he put it, it felt like a betrayal, taking information that I didn't realize was going to be shared and screwing me with insurance. And you can totally see why he'd feel that way. The car that he paid for was secretly gathering data that was being used against him financially.
Now, the argument you'll always hear from the car companies is that drivers consent to all of this. But let's take a much closer look at what that consent actually means, because it's not what you think.
The reality is your consent is pretty much manufactured. It's buried deep inside dozens of pages of dense, impossible-to-read legal documents that you are forced to agree to if you want to use your car's basic features. It is not informed consent. It's a trap.
So here's how they pull it off. A lot of these data sharing features are just turned on by default, and drivers who do agree to use something, like a safe driving app, usually have no idea that their data is being sold off to outside companies like LexisNexis. The real purpose is totally hidden, and in many cases, you can't even opt out without losing the basic functions of your car. So all of this brings us to the biggest question of all. With all of this technology and surveillance packed into the cars we drive every day, who is really in control here?
Look, automakers will always claim that this data collection is all about driver safety. And sure, a little bit of it might be. But let's be real. The evidence strongly suggests that the main thing driving this is profit. These companies are making millions, even billions of dollars selling your personal data. It's a huge, unregulated cash cow for them.
Now, to be fair, there are some potential upsides to all this tech. Things like faster emergency response or predictive maintenance telling you when a part might fail. Those are genuinely useful. But you have to weigh those potential benefits against the documented risks we're seeing right now. Secret insurance hikes, denied warranty claims, and a level of surveillance that we have never seen before in a product we buy.
And what's allowing all of this to happen? A complete and total lack of oversight. Right now in the United States, there are no federal laws that specifically require car companies to protect your privacy or secure your data. It's a regulatory vacuum, and it's led officials like Senator Edward Markey to call for federal investigations into whether these practices are breaking consumer protection laws.
You know, for over a century, our cars were just machines that we drove. Now, they are computers that are driving us and watching our every single move, supposedly for our own good. But all this evidence really makes you wonder, when your car is watching you, who is it really protecting? Is it you, or is it the company's bottom line?